Hey there, folks. You ever hear about a simple pocket change turning into $1 million jackpot? Well, buckle up, because today, we're about to take a wild ride through the hills of Kentucky and deep into your change jar. We're talking about the 2016 Cumberland Gap $quarter coin. Yep, that unassuming little piece of metal you might have used to buy a candy bar could actually be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. You heard that right. A quarter that could make you richer than your loudmouth neighbor who brags about his new bass boat every weekend. So grab your coffee, get comfy, and stay with me for the next 50 minutes as we break down exactly why this coin is so valuable, how to tell if you have one, and what to do if you strike it rich. By the end of this video, you'll know more about this coin than most collectors do, and you'll have the inside scoop on how to turn spare change into serious cash. Let's get into it. Alright, before we start flipping over couch cushions, let's rewind a bit. The 2016 Cumberland Gap Quarter was part of the America the Beautiful Quarters program. This series ran from 2010 to 2021 and featured beautiful designs honoring national parks and historic sites. The Cumberland Gap National Historical Park straddles Kentucky, Virginia, and Tennessee. It's known as the first doorway to the West. And wouldn't you know it, this doorway opened up a path to some serious wealth if you happen to hold the right coin. The design shows a frontiersman gazing westward, rifle in hand, with the words "First Doorway to the West" etched into the face. And you'll notice the mint mark P for the Philadelphia Mint, sitting right under the word Liberty. It's not just any 2016 quarter. It's a specific combination of pristine condition, ultra-rare die errors, and collector demand that makes this one skyrocket in value. You're probably thinking, come on, man, a quarter is a quarter. A few specimens were struck with an off-center die, causing a dramatic misalignment of the image. Instead of a crisp, centered design, the picture shifts, giving the coin a unique, almost ghostly look. Coin collectors grade coins on a scale from 1 to 70. Anything above 65 is considered gem quality. Some Cumberland Gap quarters were preserved in mint rolls or proof sets, staying flawless. Combine that with the error, and you've got a unicorn. Most folks spent these without a second thought. The few high-grade error coins that survived are now among the rarest modern quarters in existence. This trifecta has driven prices to an eye-watering $1.5 million in high-end auctions. Let's get practical. If you're rummaging through a jar of quarters, here's what you're looking for. Look for an off-center strike, doubling of letters, or any noticeable deformity. No scratches, dings, or heavy wear. The shinier and crisper, the better. One way to protect your find is to wear cotton gloves when handling coins. Oils from your skin can reduce their grade and drop the value faster than a lead balloon. Let me share a personal story to drive this home. A buddy of mine, Dave, had a coffee can of loose change he kept in his garage. One day, he decided to cash it in but figured he'd flip through it first. Lo and behold, mixed in with the laundry quarters, he spotted a Cumberland Gap quarter. At first, he thought, cool, a national park design. But when he looked closer, he noticed the frontiersman was shifted off-center by almost 15%. Fast forward a few weeks, he sends it in to be graded, and guess what? It came back MS-67 with a confirmed mint error. He didn't get $1.5 million, but he did clear 6 figures. All from a coin he almost poured into a Coinstar. Don't clean it. Ever store it safely in a protective case, have it professionally graded by PCGS or NGC, consult a reputable coin dealer or auction house, consider multiple appraisals. When it comes to $1 million coin, don't rush. Take your time and get expert opinions. 1970s Washington quarter, double die obverse. 2004 D Wisconsin extra leaf quarters. 1999 P Connecticut broadstrike, any silver quarters pre-1965. You never know what might be lurking in your change jar. You made it to the end of our 50-minute journey through Cumberland Gap and into the realm of $1 million quarters. Remember, the next time you get a handful of change, take a moment to look closer. That humble little quarter could be your ticket to a life-changing payday. If you enjoyed this video and want more tips on coins that could be worth serious money, strategies for smart collecting, and maybe a few more stories about folks who struck it rich, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, tap the bell so you never miss a new video, and give this video a thumbs up if you learned something valuable today. Hey there, treasure hunters and pocket change warriors. Let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever reached into your couch cushions, pulled out a dusty old quarter, and thought, just 25 cents? Well, today that little piece of metal might just be worth more than your car. Yup. You heard me right. There's a rare 1998p Washington quarter floating around that's worth not 25 cents, not $25, not even $25,000. We're talking about a jaw-dropping, life-changing, eyebrow-raising $1.6 million. That's the kind of quarter that doesn't belong in your pocket, it belongs in a bank vault with armed guards. And now, before you flip over your sofa cushions and storm your piggy bank, hang tight, because in this video, we're diving deep into why this coin is so rare, what makes it so valuable, how to spot one, and of course, I'll share a little personal story that might just inspire you to take coin collecting a little more seriously. If you stick around to the end, I'll even share a few secrets on how to sell coins like this for top dollar without getting scammed. So grab a coffee, get comfy, and let's talk money. $250,000 money. Alright, let's take it back to 1998. Bill Clinton was president. Titanic had just swept the Oscars. And in the US Mint down in Philadelphia, millions of quarters were being stamped with a little p on the front. Most of those quarters were just regular coins. You'd use them for gas, candy bars, toll booths, you name it. But a very small number, and almost freakish few, came out a little different. These rare 1998p Washington quarters had either a striking error, an off-metal composition, or even a double die that gave them serious collector's value. Some were struck on experimental planchets. That's coin nerds speak for the wrong metal. Others had dramatic die clashes or misalignments that made them one of a kind. Imagine finding a coin where George Washington looks like he's melting slightly to the left. That might just be $1 million meltdown. It comes down to three big words: rarity, demand, and condition. There are only a handful of these specific error coins known to exist. Some were struck on the wrong blanks, like planchets meant for foreign coins or earlier dollar coins. These weren't supposed to happen, but they did. And that accident is what collectors go nuts for. Collectors love oddball coins. The weirder the better. You show a serious numismatist a coin with a mint error, and they'll offer you a house in Florida if it completes their collection. That $1.6 million coin wasn't just rare, it was also in mint state. Basically, no fingerprints, no scratches, no coffee stains, just a shiny, sharp piece of history. Okay, now that we know why this quarter is special, let's talk about how you can spot one. Grab a magnifying glass. No, seriously. Don't trust your eyeballs alone unless you're an eagle. Look for any doubling on the lettering, especially Liberty or In God We Trust. Check the rim for any off-center strikes or misalignment. Pay attention to the color and texture. If the quarter feels heavier, lighter, or looks off, it could be struck on the wrong metal. Examine the mint mark. Make sure it's clearly a P and not tampered with, and check both sides for any odd clashes or shadows behind the portraits. Don't assume any error is worthless. Even small defects can raise a coin's value hundreds or thousands of dollars. I was helping my uncle clean out his garage. You know, one of those all-day projects where you find old baseball gloves, broken lawnmowers, and mysterious Tupperware containers from the 90s. Well, while we were digging through a box of random junk, we found this old coffee tin full of coins. It smelled like dust and motor oil, but I'm nosy, so I started looking through it, and right near the bottom, I pulled out a shiny quarter that looked off. It had a double image of Washington's face, almost like he was haunted. I showed it to a friend who's deep into coin collecting, and guess what? It was a 1970s quarter struck on a Canadian silver planchet, worth over $15,000. We split it. I took my half and used it to finally fix my truck's air conditioning. Okay, so let's say lightning strikes and you find a 1998p quarter with an error. What do? Take it to a pawn shop and hope they don't rip you off. Use a reputable service like PCGS or NGC. They'll tell you exactly what you've got and give it an official grade. Never sell rare coins to someone offering cash on the spot without authentication. That's like selling your car to a guy who says, "Trust me, bro." Big auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stacksbowers, or Great Collections are where coins like this go to find serious buyers. If your coin is valuable, protect yourself with a reserve price so you don't end up giving away a treasure. $4.50. Look up previous sales of 1998p quarters with known errors. Knowledge is money. Alright folks, here's the bottom line: there's money in your pocket. Change. That humble 1998p Washington quarter might just be the ticket to your first vacation in years, or a down payment on a beach house, or heck, just the satisfaction of knowing you beat the system. Most people walk past fortune every single day. They see coins as scraps, not assets, but not you. You've made it this far. You've learned, laughed, and maybe even pulled out your coin jar. Look for that 1998p with a twist. If you enjoyed this video, learned something new, or just had a good time listening, make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications, because we've got more videos coming on coins worth thousands, even millions of dollars hiding in plain sight, and trust me, you don't want to miss the next one. There's a Lincoln penny worth more than a Tesla. Thanks for hanging out with me. Today, stay curious, stay sharp, and as always, check your change. Hey folks, what if I told you that rattling sound in your car's cup holder could actually be holding a ticket to $1.7 million? A 1997 D Washington quarter is making some serious noise in the world of collectors. And no, it's not made of gold or platinum. It's your everyday 25-cent piece with a little Denver mint mark and a whole lot of value. So if you're the kind of person who throws their spare change in a jar, leaves quarters under couch cushions, or uses them to balance a wobbly table leg, you might want to stop what you're doing and listen close, because today, we're diving deep into the wild world of a coin that went from pocket change to millionaire status. I'll tell you why it's worth a fortune, what makes it so rare, how you can identify one, and yes, I'll even tell you the story about how I almost accidentally gave away a coin that would have made me rich. So buckle up, grab that change jar, and let's find out if you've been sitting on a fortune. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. It was originally made to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday. But instead of being a one-off release, it stuck around, and here we are, nearly a century later, still seeing his face in our pockets. Now, over the years, the quarter has gone through tons of changes, from the metal composition to the mint marks and even the designs during the 50-state quarters program. But in 1997, just before all that started, the Denver Mint produced a batch of quarters that turned out to be very different from the rest. Some 1997 D quarters were struck with what's known as a double die reverse. That means the image on the back, the eagle, looks slightly doubled. Not obvious at first, but noticeable under a magnifier. Other rare 1997 DS had misaligned strikes. Think of it like stamping a logo on a t-shirt, but it comes out sideways or off-center. Most coins from circulation are scratched, worn, or beat up. But the few that were preserved in flawless condition, especially those graded MS-68 or higher, have sold for jaw-dropping amounts. Not many of these error coins were noticed in 1997. That means a lot were spent, lost, or just never preserved. Today, only a small handful exist in top condition, and that, my friends, is why one of these shiny little fellas went for $1.7 million at auction. Grading is everything in the coin world. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the better the condition. 1 graded MS-65 or better? We're talking hundreds, maybe thousands. 1 with a rare error and graded MS-68 or higher? Now we're getting into million-dollar territory, and before you go tossing every quarter you find under a microscope, keep in mind, professional grading matters. Coins that sell for big bucks have been authenticated and graded by companies like PCGS or NGC. First, make sure there's a little D under "In God We Trust." That stands for Denver. The coin should be as close to mint condition as possible, no scratches, wear, or discoloration. Look for doubling in the eagle's feathers or lettering on the reverse side. Use a jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass. If the image is misaligned or off-center, jackpot. Just because you find a 1997 D quarter with some marks doesn't mean you've hit the jackpot. But if your coin checks a few of those boxes, it's definitely worth getting it evaluated. A few years ago, I had this habit of throwing all my change into an old cookie tin. One day, I was short on laundry quarters and dug into the tin. I pulled out this beautiful, shiny 1997 D quarter. Something about it just felt off. It looked almost perfect. But laundry day was calling, so I tossed it into the machine without a second thought. A few weeks later, I saw a post online about a rare 1997 D quarter that sold for 6 figures, and it looked exactly like the one I just used to wash my socks. To this day, I can't prove it was that quarter. But let me tell you, every time I fold laundry, I say a little prayer for that lost treasure. Check your change, piggy banks, glove compartments. You never know. These magnifying tools cost less than $10 and help you spot the tiniest errors. Use websites like PCGS, NGC, or CoinTrackers to compare what you've got. If you find something promising, send it to PCGS or NGC for professional grading. Once your coin is authenticated and graded, contact a reputable auction house, not just some guy on Craigslist. You'll learn a lot from the coin community. Reddit, CoinTalk, and even Facebook groups are gold mines for knowledge. The same kind you might use to feed a parking meter could actually be worth $1.7 million. That's right, One tiny mistake at the mint turned a common coin into a millionaire's dream. You might have one sitting right under your nose. Or in that old drawer full of rubber bands and broken pens. Check your change. Look close. And don't underestimate the power of a little coin with a big story. If this video helped you learn something new, or if you're now scrambling to dig through your couch cushions, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and ring the bell so you never miss another tip on coins worth serious money. We've got more hidden treasures to uncover, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. We turn pocket change into pure gold, well, figuratively, and sometimes literally, when you find coins like the one we're going to talk about today. You're at the grocery store, you hand over a crumpled $5 bill, and the cashier gives you back some change. You stuff it into your pocket without even looking. You get home, toss the coins into the kitchen junk drawer, and forget all about it. Now, what if I told you that one of those coins could be worth more than your house, your car, and probably your cousin Larry's boat that he keeps bragging about? Today, we're diving deep into the mysterious and surprisingly valuable 1995 Washington $quarter coin, a little piece of metal with a current market value soaring up to $1.8 million. Yep, you heard that right. $1.8 million for a quarter that most folks wouldn't even bother to pick up off the sidewalk. Stick around because in this video, I'm going to walk you through everything you need to know about this coin, why it's so valuable, how to spot one, how to avoid getting scammed, and how this single coin could change your life faster than you can say Millionaire. So, grab a cup of coffee, get comfortable, and let's go hunting for treasure. Let's start with a bit of background so you understand just how special this quarter is. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. It was designed to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Over the decades, the design has stayed mostly the same, Washington's profile on the front, and various reverse designs later in the 50-state quarters program, but the 1995 D is different. The Denver Mint, which is where the D Mint mark comes from, produced a ton of quarters that year, over 1.1 billion, to be exact. So, you might think, how can any coin from such a big mintage be worth anything? The answer is simple: not all quarters are created equal. Among those billions were a handful of coins struck with a die error so dramatic and rare that collectors would sell their left kidney just to get their hands on one. Now, let's dig into why someone would pay 7 figures for a coin you could have bought a gumball with. First, it's all about condition and rarity. The specific 1995 D quarter that sold for $1.8 million was in near-perfect mint state, graded MS-68 by a major grading service. To give you some perspective, most coins you find in circulation are probably in fine or very fine condition at best, meaning they've been rattling around in pockets for decades. Second, there's a die error known as a double die obverse, which means the image of Washington's profile was struck twice by the die but slightly offset. If you look at the lettering, especially the word Liberty and the date, you'll see clear doubling. That error alone makes collectors go absolutely bananas. Third, provenance matters. The most famous specimen was part of a private collection owned by a well-known numismatist, which added to its mystique in price. Make sure there's a small D on the right side of Washington's ponytail. Look closely at the word Liberty and in God we trust. You'll see what looks like a shadow or ghost image of the letters if it's real. If your coin looks like it's been through a blender, it's probably not the $1 million version. Coins in the highest grades get the highest payouts. If you really think you have a winner, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They'll authenticate and grade it. Let me tell you a little story about how I first got into coin collecting. Years ago, I was helping my grandmother clean out her attic. She had jars of old coins she'd saved since the 1950s. At first, I thought it was just spare change. Then, buried in the bottom of a dusty mason jar, I found a 1932 quarter that turned out to be worth over $1,200. I didn't get rich that day, but it taught me a valuable lesson: never underestimate what's in your pocket or your junk drawer. You might be sitting on a fortune without even realizing it. Do not list it on eBay as possibly valuable. Collectors want certification. Reputable auctioneers like Heritage Auctions or Stacksbauers are the best way to get top dollar. Big money sales can take time. You're not flipping burgers, you're selling history. Scammers will offer you pennies on the dollar. Always get multiple appraisals. Let's lighten it up with some trivia. The Washington quarter was never intended to be a permanent design, but the public loved it, So it's stuck. The Denver Mint has been operating since 1906. If you stacked $1.8 million in quarters, it would weigh over 40,000 pounds. Imagine trying to haul that to the bank. Don't clean your coin. Even a little scrubbing can reduce the value by 90%. Don't believe every online listing. If someone says they have $1 million coin and it's for sale at $100, something's fishy. Don't assume every 1995D is valuable. Only the highest grade coins with the doubling error bring serious money. We've covered a lot today. From how to spot the legendary 1995D double die quarter, to how it reached a market value of $1.8 million, to the importance of condition and certification. Before you dash off to tear apart your couch cushions, here's what I want you to remember: treasure doesn't always look like gold bars and pirate maps. Sometimes, it's hiding in plain sight, in your pockets, in your glove compartment, or in that old jar in grandma's attic. If you enjoyed this video and you want more down-to-earth tips on how to find coins worth serious money, strategies for selling them, and stories from fellow treasure hunters, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. And if you've ever found a rare coin, I'd love to hear your story. Drop a comment below. Who knows, maybe your experience will inspire someone else to start looking. Thanks for watching, and remember, keep your eyes open, your change jars full, and your dreams big. See you in the next video, where we'll uncover even more hidden gems in your spare change. Hey folks, let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever found some change in your couch cushions and thought, well, it's just a quarter? What if I told you that quarter could be worth more than your car? Heck, maybe even more than your house? Sounds crazy, right? Well, buckle up, because today we're talking about the legendary 1980p Washington quarter that's turning ordinary pocket change into a $1.9 million payday. Yeah, you heard that right. $1.9 million bucks. For a quarter. That's 7.6 million% return. Try getting that kind of action from the stock market. So if you're over 30, love a good treasure hunt, and want to learn how to turn coins into serious cash, you're in the right place. Get comfy, grab your coffee, or maybe your coin jar, and let's dive into the unbelievable world of valuable quarters, the secrets behind that elusive 1980p coin, and how you can find one too. Let's kick things off with a little background. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. And in 1980, the Philadelphia Mint cranked out a boatload of these coins. Over 635 million of them, to be exact. So you might be thinking, if there are that many, how can one be worth almost $2 million? Great question. The truth is, most of those coins are pretty ordinary. But there's one, or maybe a few, out there that are anything but ordinary. So what's the deal? How can a simple 1980 quarter with a tiny little P on it be worth enough to retire early, buy a boat, and still have enough left over for a lifetime supply of tacos? Here's the deal. That rare 1980p quarter has a combination of ultra-rare errors, pristine condition, and historical significance that makes collectors lose their minds and open their wallets. These coins look like George Washington just got out of a facial spa. That's right. Some of these coins have a doubled image on the front, his eye, the words, even the date may appear ghosted or doubled. Super rare, a minting mistake where the front and back designs don't perfectly line up. One of these babies slipped through the cracks and became a collector's white whale. When the coin still has that original factory shine like it just rolled off the press. Not easy to keep after 4 decades in circulation. Combine all that with demand from high-end collectors, and boom, instant millionaire. Now let me tell you something personal. A few years back, I was helping my grandpa clean out his garage. We're dusting off old boxes and I find this rusty metal coffee can. Classic, right? Inside, it's full of coins. Quarters, nickels, pennies, dimes. Mostly junk, right, but something caught my eye. A quarter from 1980. The shine looked a bit different, and the P-mint mark was there, bold and clean. My heart skipped. I started Googling like a madman. And while it wasn't the one, it got me hooked. Since then, I've turned coin hunting into a hobby, and let me tell you, it's paid off. Not millions, yet, but I've sold some coins for hundreds, even thousands. And it all started with an old coffee can in a dusty garage. Now let's break down the current market value of the legendary 1980p quarter. Worth face value. That's 25 cents, folks. Toss it in the parking meter uncirculated with mild luster, might go for $50 to $150 depending on the grade. MS65 plus condition with rare strike, now we're talking $1,000 to $15000. Double die or mint error in MS68 plus condition, boom. We're climbing into the six-figure zone. Point 1 recorded example, flawless condition, multiple errors, verified by PCGS and auctioned at top-tier events, sold for $1.9 million. Yup, someone saw that coin and said, I'll take that over a Lamborghini. Because collectors don't just want the coin, they want history, rarity, and prestige. Let's say you've got a jar of quarters at home or you're about to go raid the coin return slot at your local gas station. What are you looking for? Philadelphia, right next to the hair ribbon on the front. Look for doubling on In God We Trust, or the date should be perfectly readed, no smooth worn edges, feathered details should be crisp. Once you think you've struck gold quarter, you've got to get it graded. Here are your best bets. To expect to pay around $30 to $75 for basic grading, but for $1 million coins, it's worth every penny. Don't clean the coin ever. It'll destroy the value. Let the professionals handle it. A 1980p Washington quarter that turned into a $1.9 million jackpot. Who would have thought that something hiding in your change jar could be the key to a brand new life? Whether you're a seasoned collector, a total newbie, or just someone looking to add a little excitement to your daily routine, coin hunting is more than a hobby. It's a treasure hunt. And treasure doesn't always come in the form of gold bars and pirates, it can come as a shiny little coin in your glove box. Go check your change. Look through your drawers, your jars, your piggy banks. You never know what could be waiting. If you liked this video, hit that subscribe button. We've got tons more coin tips, market updates, and millionaire stories coming your way. Tap that bell so you don't miss out. You don't want to be the guy who almost found the $1 million coin, right? Thanks for hanging out with me today. Now go flip those quarters, dig through those coins, and maybe, just maybe, secure that life-changing payday. Hey there, treasure hunters and coin enthusiasts. Picture this, you're digging through the change in your couch cushions, probably searching for enough quarters to grab a soda or maybe buy yourself that overpriced gas station snack. And then, bam, you realize you're holding a tiny metal disc worth $1 million. Sounds like a plot twist in a cheesy Hollywood movie, right? But let me tell you, the 2001 Kentucky quarter can turn your ordinary afternoon into $1 million payday if you know exactly what to look for. So today, we're going to take a deep dive into the hidden world of rare coins, where old pocket change can transform your life. We're going to talk about the 2001 Kentucky State quarter minted in Philadelphia, why collectors will practically throw money at you for one in pristine condition, and what makes it so valuable. Before we jump in, grab a cup of coffee, settle in, and get ready, because over the next 50 minutes, you're going to learn how to spot one of these legendary quarters, how to tell if it's the jackpot version, and how you can turn it into serious cash. I'm going to share a story about the time I almost spent a rare coin at a vending machine because I thought it was just lunch money. Don't be me. Alright, let's get started. Let's start with a little history lesson. Back in 2001, the U.S. Mint released the Kentucky State Quarter as part of the 50 State Quarters program. You've probably seen it. On the back, there's Federal Hill, famously associated with my old Kentucky home, plus a thoroughbred racehorse behind a white fence. It's a nice design, but you wouldn't think it screams $1 million collectible. And yet, here we are in Philadelphia, millions of these quarters rolled off the presses. Most ended up jingling in pockets or living out their days in piggy banks. But a tiny fraction were minted with unusual characteristics, superb strikes, flawless surfaces, or odd die errors that make collectors go absolutely nuts. The Kentucky quarter might be the dark horse of your coin jar, pun absolutely intended. You're probably wondering, what makes one quarter worth 25 cents and another worth $1 million? The absolute top grading scale is called MS70. If you find a Kentucky quarter graded anywhere near that, say, MS68 or higher, you've got gold in your hands. It means the coin has virtually no marks or scratches and has a perfect luster. Some 2001 Kentucky quarters were struck off-center, or with doubled dies that create ghost images of the design. Others have planchet errors, like missing parts of the outer cladding or weird metal streaks. These mint mistakes turn regular coins into auction. When collectors decide a coin is special, its value skyrockets. The combination of the Kentucky quarter's iconic design and the small number of flawless examples creates a feeding frenzy in the market. That's why a single 2001 Kentucky quarter in museum quality condition commanded a sale of around $1 million. Alright, story time. A few years back, I was running late to a meeting and needed to feed a parking meter. I dug through my car's console and grabbed a handful of quarters. One of them looked unusually shiny, like it just came from the mint. I thought, neat, fresh coin, and almost plunked it into the meter. At the last second, something told me to check it. Turns out it was a high-grade 2001 Kentucky quarter. I ended up getting it authenticated, and while it wasn't the $1 million holy grail, it still sold for over $800. Imagine feeding that into a parking meter to buy yourself 15 minutes of parking. Look for the P under the word Liberty on the front. That stands for Philadelphia. Hold it under bright light. Are there any scratches? Is the luster bright and even? Use a magnifying glass. Doubling of letters, off-center strikes, and strange planchet defects can be big indicators. If you think your coin is in near-perfect shape, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. A high grade can be worth thousands, or, if you're lucky, 7 figures. Coin collecting is more popular than ever. Since 2020, the demand for certified high-grade quarters has surged. Auction houses have reported record prices for state quarters in MS68 or MS69 condition. The market value of top-grade 2001 P Kentucky quarters sits at about $1 million, and if the trend continues, that number could grow even higher. So if you've got one, or think you might, now is a very good time to get it professionally assessed. Every 2001 Kentucky quarter is worth a fortune. Only the rarest high-grade examples or error coins bring massive prices. Subtle details only show up under magnification or when graded by a professional. Age alone doesn't guarantee value. Rarity, condition, and demand matter more. Knowing what's real and what's hype can save you a lot of time. The next time you're rifling through your change, remember, that ordinary-looking Kentucky quarter could be your ticket to a life-changing windfall. All it takes is a sharp eye, a little knowledge, and the willingness to look closer. Imagine telling your friends that your $1 million payday came from the same pocket change you almost spent on a drive-through milkshake. If you've got any 2001 P Kentucky quarters lying around, I'd recommend you dig them out today. Even if you don't have the $1 million version, a nice example can still bring hundreds or thousands of dollars. Thanks for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare quarters and you want more tips on coins worth real money, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn how everyday coins can unlock extraordinary wealth. And hey, if you've got your own story about a lucky coin find, or if you've ever almost spent a treasure without realizing it, drop it in the comments below. I'd love to hear it.